Okay, let's see if that works. That work? Anything? Nothing? Nothing? Unplug mic and plug back in. That's what I just did. Hopefully Ava's coming in. Well, all right, folks. Hold up. Am I working? Yep. The sound's on now? Yep. All right. Woohoo! We have sound. All right. All right. Good deal. Holy cow. What I did was I'm going to start this officially here in just like 30 seconds. What I did was I resubscribed to the MonoStream services. I have to do that like every month. So when I did that, I had to go back in and make sure everything was set correctly. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't know. I don't know if something was just not attached correctly. I don't know, but I'm glad whatever it was, it's working now. So I've got some comments there. I'm missing here. All right, everyone can hear me. That's good. That's good. The gist of it is everyone can hear me. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, let's get this. Samantha loves this shirt. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love it. My multi-monster shirt. Yeah. All right, let's start the opening. Whoo, man, I am so glad that this worked. Well, how's everybody doing? I haven't been on here for 2 weeks now, like I was saying earlier, but you couldn't hear me. All right, but I've been gone for the last couple weeks due to the holiday, just going out and getting ready for things around Christmas time, family, shopping, and all that good stuff. So I can't always be here at 8 o'clock like I want. So last week I was real close at getting back in time, but I just didn't want to rush it. We were out doing some shopping and stuff. So hope everybody, you've nailed the sound levels on that intro. Thank you, Tom. I actually went back and rechecked all the audios. Now, the one thing, I'm going to be showing some trailers today. The Atom Age Vampire, I didn't have time to go through and check the audio on that, but I went and lowered the level on Horror Express. So when I do show that one, hopefully everything will be just fine. Daniel says, is that a shirt from Young Frankenstein? LOL. It is. Probably, it might look that from there, but it's Universal Monsters, Frankenstein, Dracula, and The Bride, and all that. John says, greetings, Earthlings. Well, greeting, John. Thank you for joining us here on planet Earth and with at the Chiller Night live pre-show. I am Brian Hogue. I'll be the host. I am also the host of Chiller Chat and of Chiller Night Theater. I was going to say, you know, tonight, although I'm the host of Chiller Chat, we're playing a special Chiller Chat to where, and we played it before, it's a repeat, but it's the one where I am actually a guest on my own show. It's the first Chiller Chat that we did at the Stream TV television studio. So Keith says, where do I get that shirt? You know what, Keith, this was a birthday gift from Ava, so I'm not sure where she did get this. Ava, maybe I think it might have just been looking it up on Amazon or something. I don't know if she went to a specific store to get it, but that's what I think she did. So just look up Universal Monsters t-shirts. That should get you there. But that's what I did, and that's what maybe you should do too if you want one of these. I think they're pretty cool. I'm also looking into later on down the road. Nothing is going to happen tomorrow, folks. But Ava said, "Did I hear my name?" Yes, you did hear your name. I was saying Keith wanted to know where he can get one of these shirts, and I said that you. Oh, hey, Samantha. I said, Ava, that you had bought this for me for my birthday, and then Samantha wrote monstersinmotion.com or Rock Rebels has that t-shirt. Okay, thank you, Samantha. I appreciate that. Samantha, who is our very own L. Von Nock. Where is that picture? Where is it? Ah, here we go. Boom! That's Samantha. Where are you at here? Right there. So, tonight's schedule coming up is going to be, check this out. Tonight's schedule, boom. All right, 9 p.m., folks. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chiller Night Theater. The movie is Horror Express. 11 p.m. Chiller Chat. Brian Hogue, that is me. I'm interviewed by Luke Rio. He is the guest host tonight. And then at 11:30 p.m., Chiller Night Theater. Adam Age Vampire. 1:30 a.m. Chiller Chat with guest Daniel Doing. That was actually last week's featured Chiller Chat. And then at 2 a.m., Chiller Night Theater. The movie is, once again, our feature movie of tonight, Horror Express. And if you ever want to check out the website, go to chillernighttheater.com. That's chillernighttheater.com. And you can check out episodes of Chiller Night Theater or Chiller Chat. You can even check out this live pre-show, as well as some other nifty, groovy things. So, boom. That's our schedule for tonight, coming up at 9 o'clock. And John writes, what a crew. Nick says, still hoping to get a Chiller Night one someday. What I was talking about is the Chiller Night Theater t-shirts. We'll see. Maybe I'll even get one that has this picture here on it. That'd be kind of cool. We'll see. I'm kind of looking into that stuff. I think I got some pretty neat leads. I've been kind of shopping around, exploring my options here, folks. Exploring my options. And Brad writes, it's the Chiller Night pre-show with Brian Hogue, starring Brian Hogue. And now here's Brian. It just isn't the pre-show without that opening. So there's just something about that gives it that talk show host. Brad says, sorry, I'm late. No, hey, I'm just glad I'm here this week. I've been off the last couple of weeks. So thank you for joining us. Thank you all of you for joining us. And if Bob Books jumps on here and I'm not seeing his comments, please somebody let me know. For some reason, Bob is the only one out there in social media land that, as far as I know, who is not able to leave comments. So I don't know why. He doesn't know why. Nobody knows why, but it is so strange. I ought to just have him call and have him on the phone while we're doing the pre-show. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. If he does get on here and he's commenting, maybe I'll just have him call tonight. Yeah, Tom says Silent Bob. Yep, that is kind of funny. He's the only one. He's the only one who's. Brad says, like I said, sorry I'm late. That is not a problem. It's not too bad. What is it? 12 after. I didn't get started till late. I was actually several minutes, probably 3, 4, 5 minutes late because I couldn't get the sound started. So you really didn't miss a whole lot other than me talking about the schedule here tonight. So I'm looking at what we have here. We have our feature movie tonight is Horror Express. Now, if you've never seen Horror Express, I chose that one to be the debut movie of the new Chiller Night Theater episodes that we started back on Stream TV in October of 2017. Now, I chose that one because, first of all, I love that movie. It has Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and it also has Telly Savalas on it, which is really cool. But little history, little Jack Shadow and Aura and the other ghosts and ghouls of Castle Shadow history here. Back in 2009, October of 2009, we did a live, well, back then it was Sleepy Hollow Theater. The show was called Sleepy Hollow Theater, but we did a live show in front of an audience. Okay, and it was kind of neat because if you can kind of picture the stage, all right, picture the stage. Up here is a screen, okay, just this big screen where the audience was sitting up here. We had a stage, and we filmed this, and we did this in Oil City as a fundraiser for the television station at the time. There's a screen, a big screen here. We had all this equipment, projection equipment, sound, speakers, and everything. We had Jack Shadow had a set that was built up on one side of the stage, and the co-host at the time had a set built on the other side of the stage, and the lighting would hit when it's Jack's turn. You know, he would go out, lights off, spotlight on this one, and then that light went out, and then the movie started again. It was pretty cool. But Horror Express was the movie that we played that night for the live Chiller Night, well, Sleepy Hollow Theater at the time. But it was quite a production, So now let's see. Brad says, "Are you getting ready for Christmas, Brian?" Yes, we are getting ready, and that's why over the last couple weeks I couldn't be here on Saturday nights to do this. Jason says, "Salmon's Communication." That was at the time it was Venango Video. If you're asking who the TV station was back then, it was back in 2009. It was called Venango Video back then, and then Brad says next week Santa versus the Martians on Chiller Night Theater. I don't quite know about that. I don't know about that. And then Jason says Horror Express is a great film. Yeah, it is. It just got that I don't know. It's got that Hammer horror looking feel. Well, it was Hammer. That's why. But just, you know, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing. Next to Universal. Actually, I kind of prefer the Hammer horror. I hold them both up there even, you know, as far as me liking them, but the Universal's more out of nostalgia. Those are the first monsters I remember seeing as a kid, and I think I mentioned that tonight on Chiller Chat when Luke asked me about that. Jason says Venango Video, I remember it well. Out and About and many other good programs, but what you're doing is awesome, Brian. Thank you very much. Out and About was with Sam Gordon. I do remember that. Yeah, back in the day. Nick says 70s sci-fi. Yeah, the old Chiller. Remember Chiller Theater out of Pittsburgh back in the day? Well, they like myself now. And all kinds of, you know, all these hosted horror shows, they play the old horror and science fiction movies of yesteryear. So, Brad says, gasp, monsters? We're British. Yeah, that's a line out of the movie. It's one of my, that always gets me laughing with the delivery by Peter Cushing when he says that. Nick says, Chilly Billy. Yes. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure if you've watched this, if you've been here for a while, Chilly Billy, this is old, an old picture back in the day of Chilly Billy, who was the host of Chiller Theater, again out of Pittsburgh, back from 1963 until New Year's Eve of 83 going into New Year's Day of 1984. That's how long that show ran. So like a 20-year run. Um, so Chilly Billy, I met Bill Cardell before I used the name here, Chiller Night. Okay, there's a little. Let me give you a little history here. And I probably shouldn't tell too much of it because I talk about this tonight on Chiller Chat. However, it's kind of a neat story. When I went to do this program here, I changed the name. As I said earlier, it used to be called Sleepy Hollow Theater. What's that? Nobody knew what in the world Sleepy Hollow Theater was. I mean, you don't know just by hearing that what in the world that was. I think I explained tonight why we named it that, but I wanted to change the name. I always wanted to change the name. That actually wasn't my idea to call it that, but I wanted it to have something chiller in it. You know, chiller being the term of an old, science fiction horror film more so back in the day, back in the old 50s, 60s, what they called them, the nickname. Nick says Chilly Billy. Jason, Chilly Billy. Samantha, let's hope Chiller Night Theater goes on just as long. Well, hey, that would be fantastic. I'm hoping so as well. Brad says, I'm sorry, but that line on Horror Express just doesn't get old. No, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. None of those lines on Horror Express get old. They are priceless, priceless classics. Okay, here is, now, I went to Bill Cardell. I approached him with the idea that I had with Jack Shadow and Chiller Night Theater. I said, I actually went to his house. He invited me to his home, and we were talking about this. In fact, here I am at Bill Cardell's house, and we were talking about the show and about the logo and about the name, and he even told me on that day, he says, I said, hey, that name is similar, because I used Chiller Theater and Fright Night, and I just combined those in the Chiller Night Theater. And he actually told me, he says, Brian, you could have used the name Chiller Theater or Son of Chiller, for, he said, I would have been fine with that. So I was like, wow, I had no idea you were going to be, that agreeable about it. That is fantastic. I was blown away by that. And Jason says, Chilly Billy's Strange But True was always good. Strange But True. Those were the skits, and like he had various skits throughout, right? Are you talking about Strange But True? Oh yeah. Yeah, there was a I do remember that. I do remember the Strange But True. Okay. He also did things where he was doing a prophet type of skit. And then really back in the old days, he was doing this thing where he was some kind of love therapist or something. I don't know. He had a lot. He had a great sense of humor. He was very witty. He had a great sense of humor, and he did a lot of different characters, even on the show. But he was very agreeable with me doing the Chiller Night Theater. Jason said it was a skit and always showed a laughing skull. Something was horror comedy. I remember the laughing skull. I remember that. The biggest part about that interview with Chilly Billy is the grandfather clock going off. Yeah, we were, boom, right here. I'm doing a, I was sitting with Bill. I wonder if I can, oh well. But I was sitting there, and we're at his house. Now let me explain this. This was actually quite a big deal because Bill Cardell did not do these. I mean, he didn't go out and do these interviews at this time. This was in 2015, and he told me, he says, I don't do that many. He says, but I think what you're doing is good. I thank you for keeping the Chiller spirit alive, and he invited me to his home to do that interview for the show. Now here's where it's kind of neat. Jason says, but it was a horror comedy, good show. Okay, yeah. I just remember the Strange but True thing. Vaguely though. I just it's he did so much over so many years. Um, but okay, I'm at the house here with Bill Cardell. I'm interviewing him. We're talking about, and then after the interview, we're talking about, or before, we're talking about the show and the logo, and he's giving me some technical advice and stuff like that for the show. Now later on, now he was always going to get back on the show. Now this is what's kind of neat. Now I don't know that anybody really has a good grasp of this, because I'll tell you why I didn't really publicize this, is because 6 days before I was supposed to go down to film with Chili Billy again, 6 days before I was going to go to his house. You see that screen I have up behind us? That was now going to be a green screen, because he said, Brian, could I do some stuff with Jack Shadow? Are you able to bring that stuff down to the house where we can be on set together? I said, yeah, I could bring the green screen down, like is behind me now, and we could give the appearance that we're in the castle together. He said, and I think that would help out recognition for Jack Shadow. And I said, oh, absolutely, that'd be fantastic. So I was getting ready to go down to his house again to tape these shows. Now it was going to be 10 episodes. We were going to film it all in one day, and we were going to divvy it up, okay? So that I was going to have 10 episodes worth of Bill Cardell, his very own segment on my show. That was amazing. Okay, to me that was just amazing that he agreed to such a thing. That was incredible, and it still is for me to think about that. I was 6 days away from it, and then I got a phone call stating that due to health concerns, he would have to cancel that. 6 weeks after I received that phone call, Bill Cardell had passed away. So that's how serious that was. But he was a great guy. He was very supportive of what I was doing, extremely supportive of what I was doing here. And the reason why he was going to do this is because the show was at that time airing on PCTV 21 in Pittsburgh. So, and also, Oil City, Titusville, in the surrounding areas, and it wasn't on Stream TV yet, so. But that was amazing that he was so supportive. And I'll put that picture back up here. Autumn says, hi Brian, I'm getting ready to go bowling. Whoa, where are you going bowling at? You going to Seneca, or are you going to, I don't know, we used to go to Titusville when I was little. It's the very first time I saw an arcade game, a stand-up arcade game. Space Invaders. I remember it well. Back in the 70s, used to bug my mom and dad for quarters so I could play Space Invaders at the Titusville bowling alley. And then Brad says, rest in peace, Chili Billy. God bless his soul. Good man, very good man. I enjoyed talking over the last year and a half prior to him passing away. I actually talked to him quite a bit, and we talked quite a bit, not just about the show, the skits and stuff, but although that was primarily what we talked about. He just was always asking me. I was amazed by this, because at the time I was a police officer, and he was always asking me about my job. How's your job? How's your job? He was always asking me stuff about me. And I'm thinking, he didn't watch me on TV. I watched him on TV. I want to know about him. This was my icon in many ways, not just with the Chiller Show, mostly with the Chiller Show, but I vaguely remember him as the voice of wrestling, with the studio wrestling. Jason says Jack Shadow is light years better than Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and Svengoolie. Oh my gosh! Wow, what a compliment! Thank you, Jason. That is fantastic. Thank you. I put a lot into that character, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's a monumental compliment. Um, it's we've had quite a I was gonna say 10 years. We've been doing the show for 10 years, over 10 years now, um, but I've been doing that character now for 12 years. Started back in 2006 in the haunted houses. So I guess I've had some practice. And hey, here's something that's kind of neat. Speaking of Jack Shadow, we are going to do, look at this. Where is that picture? Hold on. I've got all these pictures here. Boom. Check it out. Live Chiller Night Theater. This is the first time, maybe the only, we'll see, the first time, and we'll see how this goes, but it's going to be Friday, January 4th, 2019, the very first Friday of January of the new year. Now, I wrote 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I think that that's a good time to start that. It's an hour-and-a-half program, so you figure with the chatting, the interacting with Jack Shadow, stuff like that, it's probably going to easily go on till I don't know, maybe 10:30, maybe even 11. It depends how chatty we all get. So we'll see. But Jack Shadow will feature the 1922 silent classic Nosferatu. This is something that we've never, ever, ever done before. Samantha says yes. So, and Brad says awesome, perfect day and time. Good deal. Nick says hells yeah. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of neat. But oh, I got a notice on Instagram. Lisa says, "Hey Brian." Well, that's kind of neat. I'm getting that on my watch. Ava got me one of these what are they? Are they smart watches? I don't know, Apple watches. But so everything on my phone, like I can talk to Ava as long as I'm near my phone and it connects to it. I don't know. I'm just blown away by all this stuff. Autumn gives me thumbs up. Nick says play them in order. Play, and then Jason says very tempting to drive from Philly to see that. Well, we're going to be doing it just like you're watching here. We're going to be doing the Chiller Night live, just like this. Let me show you something. Kind of something like that. See what I'm saying? All right. But anyways, Brad says, I'm breaking into my happy dance. Oh, Tom says, Dick Tracy, I'm on my way. Yeah, see? Yeah, I know. It's just staggering. I cannot believe the technology that we have today. I'm just, Jason says, oh, that's great. Brad says, wow. Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Now, if we get this, if the Chiller Night Live, Chiller Night Theater Live, I guess Chiller Night, the live Chiller Night Theater. There's too many chillers. I'm getting, but anyways, if that is received well, then I'll obviously have to follow up with another and another and another. I mean, maybe that's something I'll consider. I don't want to commit to it just yet because it's a lot of work. Yeah, just really, it's a lot of work. I'm not getting a penny from doing any of this, folks. So I'm doing. I have a love. I have a passion for this type of thing. But just like we'll see how it goes. I would really like to see these numbers online go up. It has nothing to do with the TV numbers. Stream TV has their numbers. I got my numbers here. Nick says, yes, Svengoolie has terrible makeup and jokes are blah. Jason says 2001 Space Odyssey predicted iPads, Star Trek predicted cell phones, and Dick Tracy the Apple Watch. That's true. And then Samantha says, I'm always game. Good deal. Brad says Jack Shadow is about to come up in style on January 4th. And however you're communicating with me, you know, just use that as a, you know, a template or a practice, because Jack Shadow will be sitting here, and the same thing. You'll be watching Chiller Night Theater live. This is live, and you can interact with Jack Shadow. He'll be interacting with you. I think it's going to be a good time. You know, we'll see how it goes. First time ever that I've done anything like this, other than the closest I came was earlier when I talked about us doing the on stage in front of an audience. We did that all live as well. So that is, oh, Nick says yes. Back to what Svengoolia's terrible makeup and jokes are blah. You know what I didn't know about Svengoolie? I can't think of the guy's real name. I got to be honest, and this is not a dig on him in any way. I just have never seen one of his shows, and the reason being, I've normally been doing my own stuff on these Saturday nights, so it's not because I don't want it or don't like it. I don't know what his shows are like. I do see his makeup, and I would put Jack Shadow up against his makeup any day. But when it comes to content, I don't know. I do know that the guy has been doing it for a long time now. Now the guy who plays Svengoolie is he's been doing this since like 1979. He's been doing it for a long time. However, he just became syndicated just like 2 or 3 years ago. So I mean, prior to that, he was I think he was in Chicago? I think. I could be wrong on that. I don't know enough about it. I probably should just. Okay. Nick says, I'd help any way possible to keep something like this going. Well, thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Nick says Jerry Bishop. Oh, that's Svengoolie? Is that what you mean? I don't know, and again, I'm not saying this as a negative thing. I've never watched the show. I've just never seen it. I don't know. I see. Brad says no. I think Mighty Morphing Power Rangers created the Power Watch that you can talk on. Well, they may very well have, but I do know that as Tom says, I mean the idea was way back with Dick Tracy back in the day, you know. Samantha says pretty sure it was Chicago. I think it was too. Now I think Jack Shadow, I think he ought to become more involved in Pittsburgh personally. You never know. We'll see how that goes. But Nick says yeah. Okay, so I didn't know all that stuff. I really didn't. I do know that when you're watching Chiller Night Theater, as times you'll see maybe a comedic skit. You know, we have a lot of fun. But the one thing I always try to keep you aware of as a viewer, just visually looking at the castle, the bats outside the window, the appearance of Jack Shadow or the witch and Elle the vampire, you know, and the settings and everything, is that you're watching monsters. You know, you're watching creatures that you cannot harm or kill, you know, and they're well, unless, you know, that you got the cross with the vampire or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like you are watching these creatures that in my opinion make it a lot more fun, because they have their funny moments, but you know, it's like watching the Crypt Keeper on Tales from the Crypt. You know, that is a creature. You know, if you met him, you just never know what's going to happen. I think you wouldn't have any. Again, there's not exactly a rubber chicken. There's not exactly the yuck jokes, but when you're watching these characters and the settings and the spooky castle and stuff like that, I do like to keep that atmosphere. As we may trail off into, you know, some funny skits here and there, I do like to keep you reminded that when you're looking at the characters in the background, that this is horror. This is a horror show, and this dimension that they all dwell in and live in, this dark domain that they live in, is a spooky place, not a very friendly place. So they are the things that go, you know, bump in the night, and you know, the tapping on the window, the you know, the movement underneath the bed, you know, that type of thing when you close your eyes at night, you know. It's funny, when I did haunted houses, I remember doing a room where I did some thought into this, you know, what takes you back to the elemental innate fears within man, you know. And I think, where did your fears begin? Rational or irrational? A lot of them are when you're a child laying in bed at night scared, you know, maybe after you've heard a ghost story or read a scary book or watched a horror movie. And I remember using that quite a bit. Jack Shadow stepping out behind a curtain in a child's room, and there was an empty bed. And as the guests were in there, you know, Jack comes out and delivers a speech that was similar to what I was saying. And when he says the tapping at the window, there's a doll sitting on the child's bed, just a little doll. You know, the kid left his doll there. And this monster reaches in out of the window, grabs the doll, and pulls it out, which is an indication of obviously what happened to the kid. You know, and when Jack says something about underneath the bed, a big hand comes out from underneath the bed and does a swipe, you know, a big werewolf hand. And just stuff like that. I like to put thought in behind it. I do put a lot of time and thought into the show and into my haunts. Tom says Svengoolie is more like a really bad stand-up comic. Oh, is he? I just again, I've not seen him. I see the yuck yucks and the rubber chicken, and you know, hey, the guy's syndicated, so good on him, you know. I like to keep it a little more you know, creatures of the night type of look and feel. If you're watching a scary movie, you know, like I just like that. Chilly Billy, I don't know. You know what? There was something about the theme music of that when it was coming on that was just a little strange to me as a kid. An Experiment in Terror was the name of the music, but when that came on, I don't know why, but that always stuck with me as, oh, there's something something scary on TV. But I don't know. That's just my impression. It is 8:41. Now, I know we were a couple minutes late here, but I cannot believe how quickly time flies by here. I really enjoy doing this pre-show. I really do. I'm going to, let me put the schedule back on here for tonight. Ba-boom! Look at that. And I will say that I really enjoy doing this pre-show. I look forward to it. And I think if we do the live Chiller Night Theaters, I think that'll be a lot of fun as well. It's just I don't know. It's neat to meet a lot of people, you know, all of you out there who share this common interest of horror and science fiction movies. 9 p.m. Jack Shadow features Horror Express. 11 p.m. I will be the guest on my own show. I will be interviewed by guest host Luke Rio. And 11:30 Chiller Night Theater. The movie is Atom Age Vampire. 1:30 a.m. Chiller Chat. The guest is Daniel Doing. Now this is last week's feature Chiller Chat that we aired. And then at 2 a.m. the movie is Horror Express. Now check this out.
For 2 million years in these subterranean caves, a creature of superhuman evil was entombed in a wall of ice, waiting to be free, waiting to live again. Travel with us on a journey into a world where nightmare becomes reality.
you telling me that an ape that lived 2 million years ago got onto that crate, killed the baggage man and put him in there?
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.
Travel with us, if you dare, on the Horror Express.
There you have it. There you have it. Let me get rid of this. But bam! Okay. What else do I have? I wanted to show something else. Aha! Yeah, look at that. I just always like that. The Chiller Night Theater and the Chiller Chat logos. But, Nick says, my motto, the weirder the better. I think that's a good motto. I think that seems to work. It seems to work for what we're doing, that's for sure. Brad says epic trailer. Yep, good trailer, great movie, fantastic, phenomenal actors all the way around. Great situation too. You know, you've seen movies that have incorporated, you know, people being stuck on a vehicle with horrific situations going on, you know, and in this movie tonight they're on a train, so pretty cool. What was I going to show you guys? Oh, there's some things. You know, somebody asked me about Chiller Night Theater T-shirts, and I am looking into that. I'm also looking into some other things with for Jack Shadow. Did you guys ever see those, they called them, this is something back in the 70s from Ben Cooper. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of this stuff. They were called jigglers, and they were actually like rubber monster toys back in the day. And they were from Ben Cooper's, and if you don't know Ben Cooper, I think you've at least seen the work that Ben Cooper has done over the years. There has been. I'm looking for I'm looking for these. Aha! Here we go. Let's see if I can find any of these pictures here. Yeah, we'll try this. All right, stick with me, folks. Stick with me. This is that's a jiggler, and that was one of the things I'm talking about. Back in the day, Ben Cooper had all these. They licensed the monsters from Universal Studios. They had Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, like you see here, and oh, Nick says, me, sir, I'd take a couple shirts. All right, cool. Samantha says, I want one. Well, I'm looking into that, and I'm also looking into having Jack Shadow, and then later on the other characters like maybe Aura and Elle. But I am looking into something where maybe we get some Jack Shadow characters, you know, like the old jigglers back in the old the 70s. I remember having those when I was a kid. I had the Wolfman and Frankenstein. I had this mummy here. I don't remember having Dracula, but I do remember a Creature from Black Lagoon. But so we'll see. We'll see if I can manage that. 2019 in many ways is going to be a really good year. It's going to be a really good year, and I'm excited about it. There's a lot of neat things coming up. Some things I can talk about, some things I can't. Not because it's top secret. It's just because I kind of don't like to put the cart before the horse. You know, I try not to do that. Sometimes I can't help myself, and I do it anyways. But Brad says, are you planning on to consulate Chiller Night pre-show and Chiller Chat anytime soon at the beginning of the year. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to join those two shows together. I would kind of like to. You know, like I'm much more comfortable doing this and having you guys call in or something, or sitting here having a topic to chat about, than I am necessarily, like, I enjoy having guests on. I really enjoy that. But if it's an episode to where we're just doing this, I'm okay with that too. I would like Chiller Chat to become more like this. I would like Chiller Chat and this show to become more like a radio show or a podcast show, and maybe even a little longer, because of it. It'd be touching on more topics. We'll see. I'll be honest, that idea is a neat idea. I like that idea. I mentioned that in the past, but just because of the holidays and stuff, there's a lot of stuff I haven't been able to really get to. I think Thanksgiving really wore me out. The last couple months, getting new episodes out, just cranking them out. Not cranking them out, to where the quality was any less, but the amount of time that I put in to getting those out, and nobody was twisting my arm. I made the deadline myself, and if I said the deadline, I stuck to it. And I found myself even on and Brad says, I mean, it's up to you. No, that's something that was mentioned, and I like that idea. I think it's a neat idea, and if you guys like that idea, what I probably won't go back to is Tuesday night live Chiller Chats, because nobody watches on Tuesday, and I don't blame. I was trying to find a good night to do all this stuff, and Tuesday just isn't that. That night, it's not the night. So, Saturday nights is a nice night. Maybe Friday, we're going to try Friday nights on some of this stuff. So we'll see how that goes. My watch tells me when to stand and when to breathe, it's got, and it monitors my steps and everything. It is so weird. I'm not used to this stuff. But anyways, we'll see how it goes. But I hope that. Oh, hey, by the way, this back here, this guy right here, this was back years ago. I had hired a sculptor to make a Jack Shadow mask. Now that didn't. It's a neat looking mask, but it definitely is not a Jack Shadow looking mask. It's not a skull. Kept wanting to take more creative liberties on, I want them to have more of a flesh look, and I was like, no. and then it just turned out to be, it was just a slush latex mask. It's not even a foam latex or silicone mask, so it's unusable. I can't use it. But I just figured I would set him here tonight, put a little Santa hat on him, and make him useful in some way, shape, or form. I have used this mask in the haunted houses over the years. So that's the story behind that. If you've seen this little guy back here in the background. Also, quite some time I've always had this in the background, sitting here in the background, foreground, background. But I'm also thinking about having some Jack Shadow statues, little resin statues made. So we'll see. I've got a lot of neat ideas for this coming year. I really have to get my. I really want to try to get my my numbers online up. So if anybody has some good ideas, let me know. I've been trying everything since April. Like I said, Stream TV, their numbers are completely different than what I'm trying to do here. They've got their numbers. I am trying to build something online. So if anybody has any suggestions on how I might be able to do that, let me know. I've been here every Saturday, or a lot of Saturdays since the end of April, and doing the pre-show. And so one thing that might help is if you get a chance to share this. feel free to do that, to share the video. That's another way of getting the word out. And 8:53 in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut the show short here so that you guys can get ready to, you know, with your snacks and your pizzas and your beverages to settle down for some Chiller Night Theater. And again, that is Horror Express at 9 o'clock. That is Chiller Chat is me being interviewed by Luke Rio. 11:30 tonight. The movie is Atom Age Vampire. And 1:30 a.m. Chiller Chat with guest Daniel Doing for the Fringe Night comic book. Talks about that. And then at 2 a.m. once again Horror Express. So I hope you guys all join me there with that. So I hope you all have a good night. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. Thank you for joining me tonight. I thank you and appreciate that every time I'm here, whether it be me doing this or Chiller Chats. I just appreciate you guys sharing your time with me, and hope you tune in to watch Chiller Night Theater and Chiller Chat on Stream TV at streammedia.tv. You can also check out episodes of Chiller Night Theater and Chiller Chat, and even past Chiller Night Live pre-shows at chillernighttheater.com. That's right here, chillernighttheater.com. Please, I really encourage you to go to this website. Just visit it. See what I built that thing from scratch. I'm pretty proud of it. I knew nothing about it, but I got that up and running, and I really hope you take a minute to check it out. Nick says take care. Thank you, Nick. I hope you guys enjoy the shows tonight, and I'll see you next week. Have a good night. Have a good Chiller night. See ya.